Happy Cobb Tuesday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I saw a video from Merciful Andvery. Titled, "Are We Decent?" I think that's what it was. Very interesting thoughts. He stated at one point in his video that he questioned whether or not people really gave a 2 cents about his opinion on the subject. He was speaking in the context of the Ford Kavanaugh debacle that's going on. I made the comment, of course people care, or at least I do, what his thoughts are. Because he doesn't seem to be anything. He's a thinking person. He's a good person, I believe. I value his thoughts and opinion, just like I do yours. I don't care who you are. One of the things he broached in his video was human decency, because so many people in this debate seem to automatically take the political line of thought, as opposed to the first thing we should feel when someone comes out and says something horrible has happened to them, which is compassion. While I agree with that, I also think that situations dictate responses in a lot of cases. I think it's possible to be compassionate and a decent person and also not believe this person or that person. Because you could also be accused of not being compassionate if you take her side of the story as being the truth without facts. I'm saying if you take a side of a story without finding out the facts first, you could also be accused of not being a decent person in relation to your opinion about the accused. Because what often happens in situations like that is a person's life can be virtually ruined whether you've been assaulted or accused, especially if you've been wrongly accused. I don't think we can judge a person's decency quotient based on their opinions in one situation or another. If they show a pattern of not giving a crap about people, that's a different story. The thought, not from Merciful Andvery, but the thought in society seems to be that if you don't believe someone that says something like that, you're just a horrible person. I think that's a little too cut and dry. How are we to know who to believe? If two people, and a perfect example is this Ford Kavanaugh thing, if two people have two completely different stories, he did this to me, I did not. They're in polar opposition to each other. Both of them are credible. Both of them have attained a position in life where credibility was almost absolutely necessary for them to have attained the positions that they've attained. What do? You're forced to either choose a side or wait for the facts to come out, dig for the truth. Only then is it a worthwhile thing to present your viewpoint of who's right and who's wrong. I don't think there's very many people that are supporting Judge Kavanaugh whose ideology is to crap on all accusers, to disbelieve anyone that says this thing happened to me. If you stand for the truth, law and order, justice, you want the truth to come out and for the facts to be known, regardless of who is in the right or wrong. You want justice to prevail. And I think that's a decent stance. That's a stance of a decent person, to want justice. I think a lot of people, especially in the U.S. right now, rush to judgment on every single issue. And their judgment is typically based on their ideology. And that is most often delineated by right and left in this country. And while it is true that probably most people on the left believe Ford and most people on the right believe Kavanaugh, I don't think that in itself makes either side decent or indecent. There's more to it than that. The search for the truth should be the pinnacle of the goal of your what drives you in a case like this. If in the course of these hearings it came out that she was a proven liar, I think whoever is behind that should be held accountable. If in the course of these hearings it comes out that yes, indeed, Kavanaugh did do these things, he should be held accountable. What we're seeing right now in American society absolutely reeks of McCarthyism. McCarthy made his name and then inherently drug his own name through the mud by his actions, by accusing people of being communist or communist sympathizers. This was in the 50s, right after China fell to communism. There was a big political brouhaha in the United States over, we lost China, as if it were ours to lose to begin with. Lots of people got blamed for that, one party in particular. Fact of the matter is, it wasn't ours to lose. We really had no business, other than political aims, to care one way or the other how China went. A lot of the fallout from the China mess led directly to the mess in Vietnam. And right in the middle of all that was McCarthy, slinging his slurs against whomever he chose. He wasn't fighting communism as an ideology. He was fighting communism as a political method to smear his opponents. The people that supported him, and that actually started out, he was sitting around with some friends and was trying to come up with a thing to believe in that would promote his career. And the idea of fighting communism came up in this conversation. He latched onto it. And not too many years after that, all those other people that supported him in the beginning were adamant foes of his. In large part because he had no decency. And they saw that. He was not a decent person. That thought, that way of thinking, pervades American society right now. It's McCarthyistic to its core. If you don't like someone or a party, a political party, a sex, a race, a religion, whatever it may be, smear them and then see what comes of it. You may win. My hope is enough decent people make their voice heard in denouncing this way of thinking. Because it's going to be, in the case of McCarthy, it ruined one man and a few of his supporters. In the case of American society and American politics, it's going to ruin a country. So are we decent? I think that's up to us to decide if we want to be decent people or not. Fruits will bear out whether or not you're a decent person. What you do, what you say, it'll come to light. There's movement right now. Believe women. So no matter what the situation is, we should believe women. Does that sound like a good idea? Women, before they're women, are human, and humans have a capacity to lie. Every one of us. If there's a pure among you out there, make your case. We should strive to be decent in everything that we say or do. I agree with Nikolai on that wholeheartedly. I think the only thing that I disagree with him on, and if I'm out of context of what you were saying, Nikolai, forgive me. But in regards to the Kavanaugh Ford thing, the thing I disagree with is our gut reaction to believe this or that. I don't believe makes us decent or indecent. We should stand up for anyone we see that's being mistreated. In some cases, that person is going to be the accuser, and in some cases, it's going to be the accused. Therein lies the rub, figuring out which is which. Are humans decent? Yes and no. We have the capacity to do great good, and we have the capacity to do great evil. And I don't think that can be argued. If we don't stand up for good, we're just as guilty as those that are doing the evil, I think. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. I thought it was a good video. If you guys haven't found him, go find him. Merciful Andvery, Andvery. He's a decent person. Well worth following. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your pipe. Ignore the hype. Don't get caught up in the hype.